Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. I'm back this week with my plans and pans. Last week, I talked to you about Black History Month and really focused on Black Maternal Health Caucus that I'm a part of, and the issue of 12 bills that we introduced to address the problem that women of color are more likely to die of pregnancy and birth-related causes. And now we have a whole package of bills, we call it our momnibus, that we've introduced. But today, I want to talk to you about something else. Sheila Jackson Lee, my colleague in the House, has introduced a bill, and there's Cory Booker in the Senate, a companion bill, H.R. 40 in the House. And it is about reparations. So here's the story that I want to tell you, that there was, after the war, a proposal for 40 acres and a mule for the former slaves who needed support. And it was really, it was passed. It was supported by President Lincoln, and it was all set to go until the assassination. And after the assassination, we saw that President Andrew Johnson absolutely undid what the president and his cabinet and the ministers, the black ministers who were involved, he undid it altogether. And so now we have legislation that would create a commission that, number one, would have a national apology for the sin of slavery and the people who suffered from it and their descendants, and also sets up a commission to think just exactly how we would do that. And I think that most people, many people anyway, would agree that it's overdue. Some local governments around the country have begun to deal with the issue of reparations, and I'm happy to say that in my district, that Evanston has actually set up a reparations fund, and it would deal with the issue of people who have been discriminated against when it comes to home ownership in the city of Evanston. And between the years of 1919 and 1969, and then the descendants also of those folks. And so the money that will be put into this fund will be directed toward helping people achieve home ownership in Evanston. It's for Evanston residents, so that we can maintain the diversity of our community and begin reparations for, again, the sins of discrimination. I also want to talk to you a bit about the American Rescue Act. So it's so exciting, really, that finally we have an administration, we have a House and a Senate that is actually going to help millions and millions of Americans. So we are working this week and next on making sure that we're able to pass this bill. Now, we're only going to be able to do it through what we call reconciliation, which means that it's going to take 51 votes in the Senate to pass it, and only Democrats are going to be voting for it. Now, why is that? This is a bill that 83% of Americans support. So while the Republicans are telling us, and I was in a marathon hearing and markup on this in my committee, saying that it should be bipartisan and why we're Democrats. And the answer is because they aren't going to vote for it. And they have let us know. And they have recommended that instead of $1.9 trillion, which can go a long way, an investment in the American people, that they thought better it should be around $600 billion, which is not nearly enough. So we're going to see that Americans are getting $1,400 direct stimulus payment. And this money will go to people who make $75,000 or less, or a couple of $150,000. And then there's something new here that actually does have bipartisan support. Mitt Romney is supporting it. $3,600 a tax credit for children under 6 years old, and then something less for children who are older. But this is the kind of money that will help pull families out of poverty and give kids in the United States of America a good start in life. And right now, one out of 4 children in the United States of America, to our shame, is food insecure. So we really need to help our kids. There will be also a continuation of money for people who are unemployed, more money for small businesses, and raising the minimum wage. And so far, so good. It's still in the bill, $15 an hour, which, of course, doesn't sound a lot to many people. But again, there would be millions of Americans who would be able to help take care of their families with that wage. So this is, I think, a very, very exciting time where we can finally make good on our promise that this is what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said, help is on the way. It really is, and it's coming real soon. I want to talk about what's going on in Texas. I don't know about you. I have a cousin and her husband who live in Texas. They were afflicted with these blackouts. They had water, but a lot of people didn't, and people died. Why did that happen? And that is a simple greed and privatization, a desire on the part of Texas to be independent. They're going to do it their way. They're not going to be on a national grid. They don't want to be bossed around by the federal government when it comes to delivering these utilities to people, these necessities to people. So what we saw this week was one of the executives from the company saying, this week we hit the jackpot. Because in addition, they are going to be charging, they have been charging, up to $1,000 a kilowatt hour. Can you imagine? And so people are going to get hit with bills that are millions of dollars. We'll see how thousands of dollars. We'll see how we deal with this. And then we saw Cancun Cruz, Ted Cruz, the senator in Texas, who decided to go on a vacation because, of course, he couldn't think of anything else to do to help people and his neighbors and all of the people in Texas that were so terribly affected. But 3 of my colleagues in Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, by the way, raised $3 million for people in Texas, and she went down with Sylvia Garcia, a Texas representative, and Sheila Jackson Lee, and they were distributing food, something that Ted Cruz could have done, or taken water to people, or done something else than fly off for a warm vacation in Cancun, Mexico. So I'm very proud of my sisters in Congress for what they did, and I'm hoping that maybe Texas will get the idea it would be good to be on the grid, and they could have gotten help from other states immediately to prevent this kind of shutoff around so much of their state. I also wanted to talk to you about the COVID issue. We are seeing more vaccine being made, and all around the country we are starting to see more. But I wanted to just tell you that we are still facing a COVID crisis. We want everyone to get vaccinated, but in the meantime, we have to emphasize the masks, the hand washing, the social distancing, not just acting as if things are normal. Now, when it comes to the vaccine, as I said, there is more and more people are getting vaccinated. This is a good thing. But I know the frustrations that you're feeling because I am getting calls to the office. My staff is working hard to try and make sure that we have a sensible system for signing up to get the vaccine. And we're letting you know in my newsletter all the things that are available, but it still seems as if it is very complicated. I know the frustration of people who aren't online, older people who may not know how to ask for getting in the queue to get the vaccine, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we can facilitate the availability of getting the vaccine. If you have been struggling with that, you can call our office, and we will do the best we can to direct you to the right place within the 9th Congressional District. And finally, I unfortunately have to report that we're hearing about terrible mail delivery once again. And we keep reporting it to the post office, and they say they're doing their best to hire more people. If you know people who want to get hired to deliver the mail, please let us know, or you can call the post office in Chicago or in the suburban area. We will help you find that job. It's a good job. It's a good paying job. It's a union job. But we are still hearing once again of long waits for people to get sometimes their medicine, their bills, their packages. And so we're working every day as hard as we can to make that happen. So I know that in this COVID time, there's lots and lots of frustrations that still exist, and we're still here to try and help you solve your problems. I'm going to see you next week. Thanks so much. Take care. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.